Hello Freedom Seekers, Jeremy Chambers, Independence Acres Homestead. You'll have to forgive me if I slur any words. It's a little chilly out here, but I've got to get some wood cut up. It is 1 week from Christmas Eve. Well, Christmas Day is probably 1 week from Christmas Day is when this video is probably going to come out. Sunday before Christmas. And it's about 30 degrees out, but the temperature is expected to drop rather drastically over the next week. We're going to be gone for a few days, and we're supposed to get some snow like the Thursday, Friday before Christmas. So we need to get some wood cut up. We have a decent amount already up by the house, but we got to split that. And while the boys are going to be splitting that, I'm going to be out back here cutting up this birch that has been dead standing for a little while. We're going to get this processed into splittable pieces, but I've got a little something to show you guys. So we did just a little bit of Black Friday shopping this year, and one of the things that I got that I'm pretty excited about is this guy right here. This is a Greenworks 60 volt. They call it their professional series chainsaw. It is a 16-inch bar. It's got a 2.5 amp hour battery, and I have not had a chance to use this thing yet. So I'm going to use this to limb off and trim all of this birch tree back here. But then after Black Friday, we actually decided it was time to invest a little bit more into the electrification of our homestead. Not because we're all worried about being green, but because we do already have some solar panels on the property here. We already have some solar power banks, and we just decided it was time to start taking those steps forwards to kind of reduce our dependency on gasoline a little bit. And I know our grid is, we're still on grid, we're still running off gas, as far as natural gas, and we're using electricity from coal-fired and natural gas powered plants here in Michigan. But honestly, I'm tired of gas chainsaws. This has nothing to do with being green. This has to do with the fact that I hate gas-powered chainsaws. I was back here before Thanksgiving for like 2 hours cranking on every chainsaw I own, and I could get one to run for a little bit, adjusting the jets and mixing fuel and doing all this stuff, and it's just a pain. And the major benefit about these electric chainsaws is that they are ready to rock and roll. Take off the sheath, put a little bar chain oil in there, and I can go. I mean, there's just nothing about it that makes it's got all the safety features of your standard gas chainsaw. It's got the emergency brake here. Pull off the emergency brake, pull the trigger. Rock and roll, man. There's no reason to fight. I'm not throwing my shoulder out of joint trying to start the thing. I can come out here with a full battery and just rock and roll, knock stuff out. So we're gonna get to it. I'm just gonna start limbing off this thing. And oh yeah, the other chainsaw we got. We went ahead and went for the 18-inch with the 5 amp hour battery. This is a beast. It really is. It's heavy. It's about as heavy as my 50cc gas saw, and they're saying it has equivalent power to a 42cc chainsaw. We'll see. The biggest size we'll be cutting here is about a 10 or 12-inch diameter trunk, and we're just going to see how it operates. I need to put the oil in here, bar chain oil in here, and then it's time to rock and roll. All right, let's get to it. All right, that's it. Battery's toast. Done. All bars black. Woo! I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't think it was going to make it this far on this battery. I just ran into exactly what the largest complaint is about these, and that is battery capacity. This is their 2.5 amp hour battery that comes standard with the 60 volt 16-inch saw. And I'm actually surprised I got what I did. Okay, so my pace is about 3 feet, so I'm just going to pace this off, right? So we'll start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We got about 30 feet of a dead standing birch cut up on one battery. Now I'm just gonna say, as far as capacity goes, it's pretty stinking good. Using my 40cc Johnson chainsaw, this would have taken about 1 tank of 2-cycle fuel. Now the benefit with the gas is it only takes just a few seconds to refill. The drawback with the electric is that this battery is going to take about 2.5 hours to recharge on the charger that comes with this chainsaw in the box. I mean, that's a decent amount of firewood here. Now this isn't high quality firewood, it's birch. It's probably just going to get set into the stack for maple syrup season in the spring, but it's pretty stinking good. All right, let's go ahead and we'll pull out the 18-inch and we'll finish up the rest of this length of lumber here, and then we're going to head over to that log there. This is the bottom 20 feet of this birch tree, and it was still green. So at this point here where I cut it off, some woodpeckers had done a bunch of damage to it and killed the top of the tree. So that bottom half is still green. So we're going to attack that with the 18-inch saw after we get this last little bit right here finished up with it. All right, just to reiterate, this is the 18-inch with a 5 amp hour battery. This is a pretty hefty chainsaw, I'm not gonna lie. So it's got, once again, all the same safety features. It's got the emergency brake that's gonna shut off if I get kickback. It does have a separate power switch from the trigger, so it's one extra step here to hit this power button before I can begin cutting. But all in all, man, I'm really happy with just the way it looks and sounds. It sounds mean and amazing, and if it cuts half as good as a 16-inch, I'll be impressed. Wow, that cuts good. Now, I've got to say that the cutting ability of this is not just due to the electrification of these particular pieces of equipment, but it also has to do with the chain and the bar. These do use Oregon brand chains and bars, and man, they're just eating right through this birch. Of course, I know birch is not a hardwood, but it's making quick work of this. Let's hop over to that 20-foot green piece, see how it does. All right, so here's where we're at. I cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 33 12 to 14 inch rounds using the 18 inch. That's about 22 linear feet for us. Now, if I wouldn't have cut them in 8 to 10 inch round, chunks, I probably could have processed this entire length of this larger green section. But I think cutting through this green wood definitely slowed down and consumed more battery. I think if we were working with dry wood, this would have cut much easier, and I probably wouldn't have used quite as much power. Now, there were a couple times when I was cutting with bowl saws, and I'm sure you saw it. And just so you know, none of the footage of the cutting that I'm putting on this video is sped up in any way. This is all 100% as it happened. But you probably saw as I was cutting a couple times here that the saw cut off in the middle. It was not thermal, it was because I was really tweaking down on it to try to get through and cut faster, which actually slowed down the cutting and caused it to shut down, which would have happened with a gas chainsaw in this exact same situation, especially this green wood here that I'm sitting on. If it wasn't for that, I probably could have gotten through here pretty quick. But once it did bind and it shut down because of too much resistance, but if I just let the saw do its job, it cut through very well, created nice sized chips. Obviously, once again, that's due to the Oregon chain. It really, even though it is a thinner, low kickback chain, it really ate through. We do have some stretching on the chain, especially on the 18 inch, not so much on the 16 inch. But that's an easy fix. These are rather heavy. This is not light. So going to a battery operated chainsaw is not going to save in weight. It could actually increase depending upon what battery size you have. The 5 amp hour and the 2.5 amp hour batteries definitely have a difference in weight. This is what I'm okay with. The two things I'm okay with. And that's the weight. I really wish it was a little lighter, because as I get older, it's not going to get easier to throw chainsaws around. But the weight also helps me realize that it's not a toy. It really helps me to understand completely that this is a tool, and if used improperly, it will do some damage. The other thing that I'm okay with and I'm happy about is that it has all the same safety features and most controls as your standard gas chainsaw. So, we've got the emergency kickback brake, or if I'm in a situation where I just want the chain to stop immediately, I can slap this and it's going to shut that chain down immediately. And also, the other thing that I like, okay, I guess there's three things, is that if I don't want to use any of the stored energy, all I got to do is let go, right? With a gas chainsaw, set it down, it's got to continue idling, you're consuming fuel all that time it's idling. Or if you have to shut it off, you're yanking on it to get started back up again. I let go of the switch, it shuts off, I can get right back into cutting without any additional wear and tear on my body. All right, two things that I really love about it. The first is the bar and chain oil cap. This is very ergonomic, it's easy to use, toolless. I can pretty much get in there with gloves on. Little thumb tab flips out there. I can unscrew this. It fills up. It's a clear reservoir here, so with a darker bar and chain oil, I'll be able to see very easily when it's empty, but with the stuff that came with it, it's a very clear oil, so I really can't see it too much. The other thing I love about it, and this is some of the other chainsaws have a toolless chain adjuster. And I'm not a fan of that. While I don't like having to carry a scrunch around, and that's one thing that does need to change, is these need a place to carry a scrunch. If they're going to be tooled, they need to have a place to carry the scrunch. It's my opinion. No points off for that. But I like the fact that it is a tooled, bar, nuts, and chain tensioner. And the main reason is because that means I've got metal here in all these components. I'm not working on plastic thumb screws with plastic threads. I have got 100% metal right here that I am working with to loosen the bar nuts, tighten the chain, and also the chain tensioner is in between the two bar nuts here, so I'm not having to rub my hand up against this bar, whether it's covered in, bar oil or, no chance of catching myself on any of the teeth there. All of my tensioning is done in between the two bar nuts there. So that is the other thing that I absolutely really enjoy about this, is that it gives me that familiar feel with tensioning my bar, and it's all metal as opposed to some of the competition. All right, now the one thing that I would change, besides having a place to store the scrinch, because there's a lot of plastic on here, shouldn't be difficult to figure out how to store a scrinch in this. Come on, Greenworks, let's get that done. Maybe they have that on the 80-volt systems, I don't know. Really, it's all about battery life here. The cost for replacement batteries is significant to get additional batteries. I mean, we're talking $150 to $200 for a 2.5 up to a 5 amp hour battery. I really wish those costs would come down a little bit, because that is what's going to prohibit people from being able to really put these saws to the use and the capabilities that they have based upon this little bit of cutting that I've done here. I mean, I really, I'm impressed with how well it cut and powered through everything that I put it to. Both these saws perform flawlessly for the most part, and I'm really happy. This was an investment for our property, though. This was not just something that we bought on a whim. I've been researching your battery operated chainsaws for a little while, and it was between this and the is it the Ego? I believe the Ego is the other brand. And this one out, well, number one, because this was on sale during that Black Friday week, Thanksgiving week at Tractor Supply, and number two, because of the all metal chain and bar, chain tensioning and bar nuts there. That really is important to me. And they're so quiet compared to a gas chainsaw. I mean, you get done with the gas chainsaw, the vibration, the noise, it's fatiguing. And even though these are a little heavy, I'm not as fatigued after cutting up this tree here. If I'm going to be doing more than just a single tree a day, I am going to have to break out the gas-powered chainsaws. This is really going to be great for when I just have a single tree to cut up, or we're out here, we had a tree fall and we're just cleaning it up to get it out of the way, so we can come back and use our property in the back here. It was just so easy to get started and to get going. So if you've been kind of on the fence about picking up a battery-powered chainsaw, I do really suggest that this Greenworks 16-inch and 18-inch are going to be the top of my list. It comes to recommending, or if you can get this on sale again, it was well worth the investment. And I hope I'm not breaking any rules here by saying this, but this 16-inch, the full kit here at Tractor Supply during that Thanksgiving sale was $150. I mean, it seems like a lot, but I would have spent just as much on a new gas chainsaw that I still would hate after the first time it does not want to start. And I know it could also be I'm just not as good with my chainsaw maintenance as I should be, but unless you use them on a regular basis and you really are immaculate with your chainsaw maintenance, these battery power ones are going to be a game changer. Well, that wraps up this video. Now I've got to get all this loaded up into the wagon on the back of the mower there, get it up so the boys can get their splitting done. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this beneficial, educational, entertaining, whatever. If it helped you fall asleep once you wake up from your nap, go ahead and make sure you like this video for us. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and have a Merry Christmas if we don't see you again. And until next time, God bless.